From Outlander Season 7's plan to follow the books more closely to all the things that could be different in the show, here's a rundown of the Outlander books versus the show. Starting with how Outlander Season 7 will mostly follow the books. Now, rumor has it that the upcoming season will be based on An Echo in the Bone. The previous seasons have largely followed the books, but there have been some deviations from the source material, such as including Lord John Grey's character earlier in the series. But showrunner Matthew B. Roberts has promised that Season 7 will be much more faithful to the book than previous seasons. One major similarity between the book and the show is the continuation of the Revolutionary War storyline. An Echo in the Bone picks up where the sixth book, A Breath of Snow and Ashes, left off. It starts with Jamie and Claire living in America during the Revolutionary War. If you like the book, you'd be happy to know that many of the major plot points will remain the same. That includes the Battle of Saratoga and the Fall of Philadelphia. But it's important to note that not everything from the book will make it into the show. One major difference between the book and the show is how certain characters are portrayed.
No, you're not much of a cook.
Thank you very much.
Remind me of some virtues. Perhaps I missed one.
Well, there is.
The show's already made some significant changes to the character of Murtagh, Jamie's godfather, who died in the Battle of Culloden in the book, but was revealed to be alive in the show. It's possible that other characters could be altered as well, whether through their characterization or by combining certain characters into one for the sake of the show.
And Lord John, a delight him today.
You will do right, my Lord John. As for the people on the ridge, well...
Plus, the show's made some changes to the timeline of events in the past and condensed the events of Dragonfly and Amber, the second book in the series, into one season rather than two. This resulted in some significant changes to the book's timeline. It's possible that similar changes could be made in Season 7, especially since the book covers a lot of ground. But it looks like the plan is to stick to the source material as much as possible. The show's cast and crew have made it clear that they are dedicated to staying true to the spirit of the books. In a recent interview, actor Sam Heughan stated that the show has always been very true to the book series, while also acknowledging that they have to adapt certain things for television. Similarly, Katrina Balfe has spoken about her dedication to portraying Claire as she was written in the books, even if that means pushing the boundaries of what is considered appropriate for television. Of course, that doesn't mean the show will definitely follow the books. Here are all the ways that the show has strayed from the books in the past. Brianna and Roger try to go back in time using the stones, but it doesn't work. But it works when they do this in book 6 to get a family member medical care that doesn't exist then.
Jemmy just told me he heard Mr. Bug telling Mrs. Bug that all murdered people turn into ghosts. It's really frightened him.
The old fool. But does Jemmy even really know what that means?
Some people didn't understand why the show would have them walk all the way over there if it wasn't going to work. Their son, Jeremy, can hear the stones just like his parents can, so there's no real reason why it wouldn't have worked. Speaking of surprising differences, no one saw this next one coming. Murtagh was one of the characters that everyone loved to see. In the show's 5th season, he died very sadly, but that was a surprise when the character returned to the show after the Battle of Culloden. In the book, Murtagh and many Scots die in Scotland in a battle that fans and characters fear. Just like in the show, Murtagh dies in the arms of Jamie, but much earlier. It may have happened because people liked the character, but seeing his familiar face briefly was nice. There's no point in acting like he wouldn't fight with the Confederates, especially against the British. There were interesting changes, like when Claire returns to find that her marriage with Frank isn't the same. It's the time when she learns about Frank's affairs. Claire found her true love in the 1700s and is sad about losing him and the life they could have had together. Even though Frank decides early on that he'll be Brianna's father, the marriage ends quickly. In the books, it's clear that Frank had a lot of extramarital affairs over the years they've been together. He only had one in the show. Frank's much more private about his affairs in the books, and he never invites his mistresses to their house as he does in the TV show. Jamie and Claire's relationship was pretty deep as the scars they shared with each other. When Claire has to return in time just minutes before the Battle of Culloden starts, she wants to remember Jamie, who will almost certainly die in the battle. In the books, they carve their initials on each other's hands to always have a physical reminder of each other. In the show, they decided that Claire would leave him with a dragonfly caught in amber, which was a gift for their wedding. The book's author wasn't too happy with the change, but mostly because too many things were going on in one scene. Speaking of Claire's love life, let's not forget when she lost a pretty important symbol of her marriage, like the time that her wedding ring was stolen. When the characters are on a boat trip, they're attacked by Stephen Bonnet. He attacks Claire while he's stealing from the ship. She tries to swallow her wedding rings. Frank's is one and Jamie's is the other. Bonnet takes Frank's wedding ring instead of Jamie's in the books. That's why Brianna knew it right away. The wedding ring that her father gave to her mother who raised her. But the producers said it made sense in the books, but it looked like another golden band on TV and was much harder to figure out. While going to the past, I should talk about how this character's major discovery was different in the show compared to the books. Let's go back in time to Brianna's first meeting. Her plan to find her parents isn't over when she goes through the stones and ends up in Scotland. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as she thought it'd be because they're in what would become the United States. As she goes to her family's home in Lollybrook, she runs into Larry, Jamie's old girlfriend. Before Larry finds out who Brianna's mother is, they become friends. Brianna meets her aunt Jenny, uncle and cousins in the books. It was an interesting change because it made a connection between Claire and Marsley, Larry's daughter, played by Lauren Lyle. Of course, that doesn't mean the authors just let us know everything about the new season. Diana Gabaldon's largely remained tight-lipped about what you can expect from season 7.
See them in different situations, and the same person can look very much like a hero or a villain depending on the situation in which you place them and the way in which they respond to that.
But she recently confirmed that she's been working closely with the show's writers and has even written an episode for the upcoming season. So what can you expect from season 7? Well, there are a few things I know for sure. First, the season will be set during the American Revolution, so you'll see Jamie and Claire navigate a dangerous and tumultuous time in American history. Plus, we'll get to see more of the Fraser family, including Brianna and Roger, who will play a significant role in the season. Also, the show will continue to explore themes of love, family, and sacrifice that have made the series so popular. But there are still many unknowns about season 7. There's not much information out there as to how closely the show will follow the book's plot, or which characters will be more prominent than others. Neither are there any rumors about how the aging of the characters will be handled, or whether the show will change significantly from the book regarding major plot points. But what I do know is that I can hardly wait for the season to drop, and I'm pretty sure you can't either. With that, that's all for Outlander's book versus show.